Oh, great to be here, guys. Today we are looking at something very important in the world of sound design. So this is an edit for a film. You can see the window here. So practically, what we are looking at is how to upgrade or step up your mix from your stereo mix to 5.1 surround sound design. Now, already the job has been done and concluded in stereo format. What you want now is how to get it into 5.1 or 7.1 as the case may be. But for the sake of this tutorial, we'll be looking at upgrading from your stereo to your 5.1 surround sound mix. I had a challenge, on this project, and at the time I felt, okay, fine, I don't want to let this thing remain in stereo. I need to, take it up. If you found yourself in that situation, this is just it. All right, guys, let's go straight ahead. Let's talk, but more of the actions. First thing first, I would advise you go straight, if you're using Pro Tools, of course, you go to your setup, find your IO, which is your input output. We need to do some setting here. So you click on it and then it comes up. Of course, you're going to have this dialog box, which shows you outputs, then input, your bus, inserts, and the likes. So we're coming to this bus here. All right. Now, what you want to do is to achieve here is to create your 5.1. So you can just create a 5.1 surround box. But however, we are going to hold on here and I explain to you some things that, of course, you should be looking out for when you're upgrading your sound design from stereo to 5.1. Now, quickly, do not forget that we have the dialogue, which is very important. We have the music, we have the ambience, we have the Foleys, we have the sound effects, all right? These are 5 major items you have to look at. The dialogue, the music that you have, the ambience, of course, the Foleys, and then the sound effects. Now, if you have this element in your stereo mix already, and now you're wondering how to spread them around, how to get them in the right places, don't forget there is a proper way to ensure that all of these are properly sent to the right speaker. Okay? Now, your dialogue should always be in your center. All right? You're going to have your dialogue only in that middle space, your center. And then you're going to have your music, of course, in your stereo field. And you're going to have your ambience too in your stereo field. You're going to have your Foleys follow. Okay? Your Foleys should follow your dialogue. Because naturally, you want to have somebody, for example, cooking in the kitchen and slicing tomatoes. You don't want to hear the sound from some other speakers, like the surround, like the left surround or right surround speaker, or where you want to hear it from is directly from where the person is. So you want to create that immersive sound, surround sound. You have to be mindful of where you are sending what to. So if you're sending your Foleys, you make sure it comes from where your actor is per time. All right. For example, you have except for, okay, we still have sound effect to discuss, so I'll explain that. But for your Foleys, for example, somebody is walking, you want to hear the footstep where he's coming from. Oh, we need to hear this person come, we need to see the footstep, and then we need to hear the footstep rather, and then at the same time we need to hear the person speak from your center speaker. Now, another thing to look at, very important, is your sound effects. Now, sound effect, you're going to have a lot of them in your design. For example, you have somebody, you just have something, that the whoosh, the swoosh, a lot of amazing things to do with your sound effect. And these ones you can throw around your right surround, your left surround speakers to create that movement in the room so that the person who is watching per time sees feel immersed in what they're watching. That's why you call it immersive sound. All right. When it comes to 5.1, 7.1, you're trying to immerse the individual watching into that space. All right. So, for example, you have an aeroplane coming from certain angle in the room, or somehow it's not in the picture. You want to bring it from the back of the room, from the left surround, the right surround, then directly into your front. You can make all this movement in your 5.1 surround sound design. But however, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to, upgrade from your stereo to your 5.1. So, haven't explained enough of that. Let's just continue with what we have in terms of our bus. So to create a bus, you go to new part. All right, guys, you go to new part. When you click on new part, you're going to have this dialog box. You see where you have mono, stereo, LCR. This is left, center, right, surround, quad. You have 5.0, 5.1. Now you choose your 5.1. If it says 7.1 you're working on, that's beautiful. You can always choose. But for 5.1, you choose 5.1. Okay. Now you can name this bus instead of just having it as the default name bus. You can decide to say, okay, I'm going to be using this 5.1 bus for the dialogue or for the music. So you name them accordingly so you can trace them. For example, if I put this as dialogue, if I say dialogue, okay, right? So I click, you're going to find it down here. See, dialogue. So already showing me LCR, LS, RS, LFE. So what you have here is left speaker, center speaker, right speaker. And of course, these ones are in the front. And then you have left surround coming from your left behind. Okay. Then right surround coming from your right from the right behind. And then you have your LFE, low frequency effect. Okay. This is where your low frequencies are settled. Of course, you have all of these speakers to play with in terms of where to throw a particular sound per time. Now, guys, the same way you have created this dialog box is just the way you create the one for music. I'm talking of this boss, the 5.1 boss. You also create on that one. For example, you go to your parts. This time around, you can now say, okay, what I want is for music. You type music. Okay. You just use your naming nomenclatures that you feel you can always remember. You can shorten your music and say MX if you like it that way. All right. So I have also named some already where I said, for example, I have MX as music, DX as my dialogue, sub boss rather. I have my ambience, I have the Foleys, I have the sound. So those 5 items like I explained earlier. So we're going to just say okay. The moment you say okay, is already down there. It's for you to now start to route, okay? Because now, guys, don't forget your dialogue should always be in mono, all right? If you look at my dialogue here, let's look at this dialogue here. It's a mono channel. So what I do already, like in my stereo mix, I already have an aux input box where everything here in this mono channel, the dialogue in this channel where the actors and probably had their dialogue all through different, depending on the channel. I have a number of channels. Okay, it's on that one here, but they're all mono. So I route them to one single sub. Okay, in this sub, of course, create an aux input, a mono one this time around. Like for example, if you go here and you look through, you see that it's mono. This is supposed to be a bus 13 naturally, and then you have bus 14. So I just took the 13 here, name it mono, dialogue sub bus for my own self, and then bring in all of them in here, and of course apply, like if I have a general effect that I want to use today. For example, if I need to use, imagine an EQ where I need to just cut away my lower frequencies for the dialogue, for example, like between 100 down. Okay, like I don't have to go individually to those dialogue audio channels and start putting the EQ, that'll be too much weight on my system. So what I do, I just find that in a way to put all of them there. Of course, from that way, that aux input where I have the bus for the mono dialogue bus, now I can decide to now start routing. Now, so like we have explained earlier, this tutorial is focused on how for you to take the right element into the 5.1 surround space. So what are we doing right now? So we have our dialogue bus in this mono channel here, right here, okay? This one, mono dialogue, is here. I have my music in this stereo channel, okay? This is music right here, okay? Now I have my sound effects, I have it here. Then I have also my Foleys. They are all represented down here. You can see them. Foleys are different with different scenes across this very episode. Now I have my ambience. You can find them here. All right. Then I have, okay, that's about the fifth one, ambience. So don't forget, I said your dialogue, your music, your sound effect, that's the third one, your Foleys, the fourth one, and of course your ambience. Now, guys, let's start up with the dialogue. Let's place it from the stereo field directly into the 5.1 surround sound. Don't forget, we created a bus, a 5.1 surround bus dialogue. Now, if my dialogue is here, I'm going to simply come to this place where I say bus. Guys, remember we created a bus earlier titled dialogue. That was the name we called it. So it says dialogue 5.1 surround. You click on it. So when you click on it, it's going to automatically come into this place. Can you see it? Okay, but we need to see it, right, guys? So what we do, we click. Wow. Now you can see the environment here. You can see here you have your center speaker. Here you have your, what speaker is this? Is this our right or left right now? Okay, this is our left speaker. And of course, this is our right. And then you have your left surround and then your right surround. Guys, these dots here, look at it. This one I'm moving around simply represent your panning, which side you want to throw this dialogue. Okay? Where exactly do you want this dialogue to be coming from? Now, remember at the beginning of this tutorial, I did explain that this dialogue should be placed right in the center. All right? So if this is your center speaker, then place your dialogue right here. Beautiful. That's just it. So you're going to realize that when you play this every episode from your 5.1 speakers, for example, you have your speaker set properly, you have the right speaker, the left, the center, your LFE, LS, and RS all set. You hear this dialogue from this very episode sound only from the center speaker because that's where you have routed it. Guys, our stereo dialogue automatically is being stepped up into 5.1. That's the first step. Now, we're going to go to our music. Now, come to your music channel. Here I have my music on this channel. Remember, guys, I told you I created a bus earlier with MX as for music. So MX 5.1, you can see, you click on it. All right. So you want to see it, click, and then it comes out. You see, this is your music. 5.1 window for you to, pan and tell where you want it to sound from. Your music is in 5.1 surround, it's stereo. You don't want to make it mono. Of course, it is not dialogue. This is music. Now, so your music element, ensure that it's in a stereo field so that you can decide to place them where it should be. For example, I told you earlier, look at this one here. Okay, let me unlink it so we don't have to move them at the same time. All right, so you look at this. On this other side, you can choose to say, okay, my music is coming from here. Pam. That's your left. And then on this side, you throw the music to where? Your right. So this way, you're going to have your music come from the stereo field, unlike the dialogue that you sent to the mono center, all right? But this time around, you're taking your music from both speakers, all right? The stereo field in the 5.1 surround sound environment. Beautiful. You can choose to send a bit of it to your LFE, all right, guys? That's your low frequency effect, which is the LFE right here. If you decide to push a little, the amount you push here goes into that speaker. Guys, the amount you push here goes into that LFE speaker. You can decide to say, okay, no, I don't want music in it. You can say, okay, I want a bit of it. Of course, you can listen to it and hear it the way it sounds. Oh, guys, haven't done that. That's music. Now, guys, we're on sound effects. For sound effect, you can choose where you want to sound from. You go here. I created a bus too, just the way we created the dialogue bus. But this time around, we call it SFX, sound effect 5.1. When you open up, you click on it, you're going to find this window. Now, your sound effect, don't forget, this very button here helps you to say where exactly you want the sound effect to come from in the 5.1 surround environment. Here is your LS, which is your left surround. You can decide to say, okay, you want it here, or you want it to be like this. So where that case, you have somebody watching, and the person is seated here in the room. Now, you can see this looks like a field. All right, in this field, you have the individual, for example, here, and watching. Okay, and the monitor screen is here. You see how beautiful it's going to be. Imagine your sound coming all around the room like that. This is a room, okay? Like I said, a field, a room. Now, you have somebody watching from here. It's going to be immersive. That's why it's called immersive audio. You feel the audio. You feel the impact. You see somebody walking from here in the screen down this way. You see somebody talking here. You see a plane move all the way into the screen. You know, you can, this 5.1 is an amazing thing to do. So guys, you can throw around your effects, sound effect in the room. Of course, your LS, RS, and wherever suitable. I haven't explained that. Let's go straight to our Foleys. I did explain earlier that your Foley, of course, FFX is what I use for Foley to create my dialog box. Sorry, my Foley box right now. This time around 5.1. And in my own case, like I explained earlier, you want your Foley, somebody's working, you want to see the person, at the same time hear the person. It shouldn't be sounding like, oh, you're seeing somebody right here at this part of the screen, and then somehow this footstep is from here. That's going to be awkward. So a lot of the time, your Foleys want to come from where the very individual is. Somebody's here pouring a water or a wine into a glass cup of wine. It should actually come from where that person is. So you want to find most times your Foley from that very center. And I haven't explained Foley. I think we have one more to treat, which is the ambience. Okay, your ambience will most definitely come from your stereo feed. So when you want to spread it, you do the same just as we did with, for example, this is a mono channel, okay, and another mono ambience 1, ambience 2. So I can say, okay, this ambience 1, what I have here is a direct representation of what is here too. So this is going to go to a particular speaker. For example, I open it here, you see, it goes to the left, and then I go to the one underneath here, okay, which is here. And then you see it comes from the other speaker. So in a way, your ambience covers the whole place. You can be very creative with it. In the world of audio, never say never. Just be creative, play around, try and enjoy the sound, make it immersive enough for the individual watching to say, wow, I felt this. So just like we were saying before the interruption, guys, what you want to achieve is to ensure that when you have a 5.1 surround sound environment, you want the individual watching to be immersed in that very movie that you have created. All right, guys, I want to believe with what we have explained. You should be able to upgrade your stereo sound into your 5.1 surround sound. All right. But do not forget, very important, your sound card should be able to, of course, output your 5.1 surround sound. Like you should be able to, put about your 5 speakers and then, take out the output now to your right speaker, your left speaker, your center speaker, your LFE, your left surround, your right surround, and that way you can actually hear what you have routed here. But however, if you have a 5.1 sound surround, like in the final mix, I'll show you something here. You can always down mix it if that's what you so desire. I'll just show you quickly. For example, my print master here, this channel in Pro Tools. Okay, everything here ends at this print master. You see it's 5.1, the whole channel. Look at it, 5.1. Everything comes in here, and you see them move exactly in that order. See your dialogue going up, the stereo is here. Okay, it moves that way. But however, when you're done with this and you feel okay, I actually would like to listen to it maybe on YouTube, and I don't want to render it in 5.1. I need it to come down. I haven't been able to design exactly what you wanted in 5.1. You want it in stereo because that's how you want to, probably share it with your friends or put it online or your platform, so you can quickly down mix it. All right. I wouldn't mind doing a video on that though, where I can just show you how to down mix. In Pro Tools, it's quite easy. You just go to your sound field. You're going to see a down mixer. Look at it, down mixer 5.1/stereo. It means it's going to down mix your 5.1 into stereo only. All right, look at it. It has the left, the center, the right, the LS. That's the left surround, your right surround, and of course your low frequency effect, which is your LFE. Now all of these we're going to be joined together, merged together, and of course it brings it down to stereo, which is the down mix. So if I put that here now and then I play again, you're going to see what's going to happen with my timeline. You see, sorry, I play again. You see everything happening here comes down to stereo only. What a beautiful thing to behold, guys. This is interesting. All right, you can feel free ask me questions, and I will share with you my own knowledge. And of course, you can also, if you have some inputs to put on what you've watched so far, you can just tell of course others who have watched how to go about some things they probably would want us to throw more light on. All right, guys, do not forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel so we can make more videos for you. And do remember, you be the extraordinaire.